Think so. Waiting on
Yeah,
the picture to come through. Looks like we're good.
looks like it. All right, all right. So today we're going to talk about ads, ads for coaches particularly, and this is going to be for those coaches that are usually spending less than, let's just say, $8,000 to $10,000 a month, which is going to be most people. Most people, in my opinion, either one, you don't know how to spend more than that, or two, we can't handle the operation if that's the case. I was talking to a coach the other day. I think this is really funny. New guy signed up with us, and I said, "How much money did you spend? How much money did you make?" He was like, "I'm spending $2,000 last month." And I said, "Okay, well, how much did it cost you to acquire a customer?" And he was like, $500. Okay, so like you spent 2 grand, and you sold a package at 4 grand, so you had four people, and so you made 8 grand. So, or excuse me, 16. Four people times four. So you spent two, made 16. I was like, why didn't you increase it? He was like, well, I guess I didn't really look at it that way. I was like, I'm spending $2,000. That's a lot of money. I'm like, but you made 16 though. It's a great example. Now everybody's going to have different numbers. Some people might cost you $1,000 to acquire a customer. Some people might cost you $150 to acquire a customer. Everybody's different. However, understanding what numbers to look at is going to make the biggest difference in actually growing your ad spend and essentially scaling the company. Because I think a lot of times too is like, okay, well, as you're doing well, like we're making money, like spend, spend, spend. Like that is great. However, do you have the coaches to fulfill it? Do you have the setters to handle the conversations? Do you have the closers to take the calls? Like how much can you actually fulfill? And so it's always good to break down the math, right? We talk about what it takes to acquire a customer, but we also need to talk about what does it take to fulfill a customer. And so when you talk about from the ads perspective, one thing I always try to look at is if I spend X amount of dollars and I'm currently getting X amount of clients, then that means that I have a predictable amount of clients that I'm going to have coming in. Meaning that if I spend, let's say, 2 grand on ads and you get one new client a week at $500, and then they're paying for 6 months up front, that means I'm getting four clients every single month, let's just say. At what point are you going to be full? You can't be like, let's double it because now you got eight, and then it's eight again next month and eight again. Can you keep fulfilling that? And how many months can you go until it's capped? Because what's going to end up happening is that you're going to sell so much, if you would, so that you no longer can actually keep selling. And then now you have no income,
Hmm.
which becomes problem number one. Why didn't you build a recurring business at all? Right. But
Yep.
normally that's not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about cash, 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 cash. The recurring business model means that if I'm spending money on ads in my mind, my my re-sign up or my old clients need to go to a reoccurring model to help me fund this process. Cash helps pay for the acquisition, and then the retention of the client helps pay for the business operations if we ever have to cut off ads, which means you get no more new clients and no new money.
Yep.
So is that a good framework for people to understand? Is that we need to map out where we're going, how we're going to get there first and foremost. How many new clients can you handle? And then if we're spending money, where should we start? And then what can we actually max out at? Now, everybody's numbers are different. So there's not some magic sheet I can give you saying, here's the formula, because everybody's different. So a few different types of ads. I'm not going to go into great detail about these. I think this is something we can, more than maybe one of our other calls, but a few different types of ads you can put up that I suggest for coaches is typically going to be a boosted ad. And then also you can just post a normal ad through the business manager. But from boosted, there's a few different ideas that you can create here. You can see where you can like comment keywords and then you can boost those. There's also other ways that you can boost posts of saying, hey, follow me for more information like this. Those are typically the follow me ads, like the number one starter ad that I think most people should do. And you can start at $5 a day. I don't think you need to do any crazy targeting. I think you just go to Instagram.com on the website. You essentially then you make a video telling people, here's something about me, what I do, follow me for more things like this. You put $5 behind it, you boost that, and that's gonna be $150 a month. See how it performs. And then you can make it $10 a day, $50 a day, whatever. But that way you're getting new followers. Again, new followers doesn't mean new clients. It means new opportunities for you to reach out to new people that follow you, to have a conversation, which then leads to you then setting them on a sales call, right? So $5 a day, boost something that's going to get you some followers. And then from there, whatever you do, do not boost something that's like looking for 5 people. I think that's a really bad way to start. I think you need to go after leads, not clients. There's a time and a place for the hard selling. And I would suggest that you don't hard sell if you're spending less than $1,000 a month. That's just where I'm going to like learn how to get followers and leads before you learn how to get clients. Getting clients is really hard to focus on, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have coaches that do both. Okay. But there's a combination. I typically never like to turn off the follow me ads unless you have 1 million followers, right? Unless you have 100,000 followers, you could afford to get some more followers because it creates authority around your brand. Curiosity, how many people have bought something that was high value if somebody had 500 followers? There's something about why don't you have more? Are you not experienced? Have you not been doing this long enough for people to go, hey man, he's good, I should follow him? So that's something that you kind of want to learn about there. So with that being said, the next ad that I would do after the follow me ad would be boosting a piece of content that performed well. Okay. Boosting a piece of content that performed well. So a good objective here would be, whether it's like a grocery list or a recipe ebook, or, you have the macro calculator that we give to people that you can comment the word macro, something of that nature, adding value, and it performed really well. And really well would be depending on the person, but let's say that you had like 5 to 10 people comment keyword, right? Small coach, 5 to 10 people comment, and all your other ones maybe got 1 to 3. That one performed better. So then just put $5 behind it and see what happens. If you had $5 for every single person that left a comment, let's say you had 1 new comment a day, this means you're paying $5 for that lead. $5 leads is not actually that bad, because depending on your industry, it's like there's people that will spend hundreds of dollars to get leads. Okay. Or they'll spend like $50 to get a lead. Now, different types of leads, but nonetheless, a lead. So spend $5 a day, get some people to comment, create some engagement. What this is actually going to do also is help you get better at setting. Having more conversations allows you to actually try to go after clients at that point. Okay. So with that being said, the next step would be going from, right, so we've got our boosted for follow me. We have our boosted for comment keywords. And then you can do a DM me style ad. Okay. The third step would be a DM me style. The DM me style ad is something that you can do a graphic, you can do a video, but basically you're telling people to send you a message with either a keyword or a phrase to learn something, or get started working with you. And this is really important to make this look organic as possible. I think it's so important to make things as organic as possible. I think a lot of times we think, okay, so it's an ad, I'm going to like graphically design this thing and make it look some type of way. People only engage with stuff that's organic. And so if you like hire somebody off Fiverr to make a graphic for you to post for an ad, it's actually the opposite of your brand. It's opposite of who you are. It's opposite of everything that makes you who you are. And if you try to make it yourself, it's going to look like crap because you're not a graphic designer, you're a coach, right? And so it's just better to just do whatever you do normally inside your story, right? There's a lot of great coaches that we have that will basically post a story and be like, I'm gonna use this for an ad. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think it should be organic as possible. And if you don't think that that's necessarily the case, you want to look more professional, think about it like this. How many TikTok ads do you see and you don't know they're an ad until you see at the bottom when the sponsor thing pops up. There's a reason why at the bottom it waits to pop up. In my mind, I think it waits because it wants you to see the picture, the video, as organically as possible, and then see if it hooks you in so that you don't care that it's an ad. But if you like, how many TikToks have you scroll past and you go, that's an ad immediately as the screen shows?
Yeah.
Don't want that. You want yours to be like, you're talking and be like, oh, wait, that's an ad? But I also want you to be like, oh, wait, tell me more. Oh, it's an ad too? Okay, I'm interested. That's a good hook. That's a good ad, is that when I don't know that it's an ad. I think that's really, really, really important. Is try to make that DME ad as organic as possible. So that way people will then engage with it and then actually want to message you versus they feel like they're messaging a person versus messaging a business. So if it's relatable, personable, more people will use it. Now, the next question becomes after all that is like, yo, Mike, what about audiences and locations and all this, that, whatever? Like, how much money should I spend? What KPI should I be looking at? Unfortunately, all that stuff is relative to your business. There is no major, hey, this is what everybody should do. There's no such thing as that. There are good rules of thumb. And I always just say, hey, if you're not spending money on ads, $5 a day. If you are spending money on ads, diversify your content, right? If you're not spending money on ads, you're just getting started, just boost one post. If you're spending $3,000 a month on ads, you need to be diverse. You need to be A/B testing. You need to be seeing and studying those ads each day and learning what it should look like. How much does it cost me per follower? How much does it cost me per click? What is my click-through rate? If you can get a click-through rate over 1%, that's really, really, really good. If your click-through rate is 0.01%, that's really, really, really bad. So there's just different metrics that you want to look at based on what it is you're trying to do, because the metrics for getting a new follower versus commenting and sending a message are all going to be different. And so if you try to view as like a message is going to cost the same as a new follower, it's not. Graphics are going to perform different than videos. Sometimes videos perform better than graphics, vice versa. Again, depends on your audience. And so don't think that like, well, I'm not going to do anything because I don't know how to do it or what it's going to look like. You can spend $5 and learn. You just have to care enough to want to learn. If you spend $5 a day and you're like, we'll see what happens, then you're going to see what happens. And then you're not going to care about it or study it to make any adjustments and move forward and learn from it. So those are the three major things that I want to focus on with those three different types of ads. And then from a KPI standpoint, you have to spend the money to find out what the KPI is to begin with. And then you can see how it's working on the back end. Because sometimes it might cost you, let's say, $15 to get a new follower. And you go, man, that seems like a lot of money. But if 1 out of 3 people that followed you booked a call with you, I would take a $45 book call 8 days a week. I'll give you $10,000 tomorrow. So you got to figure out what numbers you're okay with and see how it performs and works. Because whether you're doing it or agency's doing it, they don't know until we know. So you're going to have to go through a testing standpoint. Like, hey, I've got to spend X amount of dollars to see and learn about what this is actually doing. So the mindset you have to have is lower your expectations. I need you to have no expectations, actually, because you don't know what's going to happen. So don't have expectations that you think you know what's going to happen. The second thing is that it's okay to lose. You can lose 10 times in a row, and the 11th ad can make you rich.
Mm-hmm.
You got to invest into it. And it's a lot like, you get somebody to start working with you and you're doing their diet and their workouts. They're not going to just see massive success the first month. We got to learn how their body works. We got to constantly adjust food. They have to learn how their body works. They've got to continue to show up. They've got to get through the hurdles and the struggles. And then you can find a rhythm and a pattern, and you can find the triggers that cause them to either stay on plan or fall off of plan. Just like you will find out what posts that you're using inside your ads are going to help you make money and then also do not fit your brand and get you bad clients bad leads. And I say bad leads of just not being ideal client. So again, just don't be afraid to lose, constantly testing, and then lower your expectations. Everything above losing your butt is a win. I'm a big fan of, like, if you break even, congratulations, you're learning for free. Like, that's an amazing place to be, because most people don't do that. Most people lose in the beginning, and that's okay. But it's about winning long term. That's the name of the game. So do not invest your last dollar into an ad. Okay. Just that's a big thing. You want to allocate so much money. It's like gambling. And you go to the casino, I know that the idea is I'm going to lose. I'm okay with losing whatever amount of money I have on the table. And that's how you have to approach ads. If I don't make a penny, I'm okay with that. I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, and it's kind of like, again, like stocks. Like, if you play everything safe and you don't do anything, you have no upside of winning. So those are the major pieces that I want to talk about today.
Got it. We had a comment from David. He said, just started story ads. It feels like I am just burning money. And then he asked, what do you recommend best strategy to pick an audience for your ad?
So with Gia, or excuse me, with picking the audience, this person that you're going to select, I would always start broad, then go narrow. But also testing, right? Spend $3 a day on women, spend $3 a day on men, spend $5 a day on people that like fitness, spend $5 a day on people that aren't like fitness. I think you're just gonna have to find out what that looks like. If the boost that you're using, let's say, is around you making coffee, target Starbucks and Lululemon, right? Target people that drink that product. You can do those type of things inside the audience, but most of the time people get way, way, way too narrow and it gets really expensive. Start broad, then you can go in.
Yeah, I think that's a good tip. And obviously, if you are targeting men, which I know David is, then you might want to filter for just men. If you're targeting men generally over a certain age, then at least put men and then over a certain age. You can kind of start from there and get narrow. Would you use IG's Advantage Plus or create your own?
If I was brand new, I would just let IG do it for me. If you're spending more than, let's say, 5-10 grand a month, then you can get a little bit more narrow. But even then, as you start to really dial in your messaging, then you can go back to IG Advantage. IG Advantage is just to help you for those that don't know, which is good, which is okay. Like, we need help. We're going to need that help. So let them help you, especially when you're starting.
Cool. Anything else on ads, Mike?
Not today. I want to dive deeper into this topic, especially on some of our private calls that we have. I do think it is a very well needed education space to help those coaches continue to get more leads in the business, that have the messaging down. And so I look forward to diving more into it. It's been something on the waiting list for me for the last few months, and I'm excited to kind of like crack it and dive open and let everybody take a crack at it and see what they can do.
All right. Perfect.
Appreciate everybody. Enjoy your guys' weekend. Hit the subscribe button. Never miss another one. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks, guys.